Alright, so this is going to be my first video on YouTube, and it's an introduction video basically about who I am and what I share on my page. So essentially, I am Isaiah Matthew, 28 years old, born in Miami Beach, Florida. I've lived here pretty much for all my life. Haven't traveled I haven't traveled a lot just yet, but that's a part of my main, story is traveling, and not only to see other places, to hear other languages, to feel other frequencies, but I also run a business that requires me to have the best resources possible for crystals and for metals, because I make handmade jewelry. And so essentially that's why I would like to travel the world one day in a RV or in a created van camper that I can stay in and travel in, so that way I can source these crystals from these different places and meet different mine owners and meet different people who are in the same or a similar mentality of me with these crystals, because there's something about them that I gravitated towards this lifetime, and I plan to be able to express why I gravitated towards them and why I believe in them so much. And now I've gotten folks who don't understand it at all and would like to learn, and so that puts me in the position to be the best. That puts me in the position to want to be the best teacher possible. So I need to know a lot about it, because from my personal experience, the little bit that I have experienced, there's magic in these things, and it's all about your mindset, your mentality, and your intent. You can do a lot of crazy things, or let me not say crazy things, but a lot of magical things with the elements of the earth, if you so please. And so that's a part of my journey and a part of what I want to share with you on this page. And so, yeah, that's an introduction of, so far, who I am and what I dabble in and why I do what I do. And now I want to express to you guys a little bit more of my shadow self, my darker self. I am one of those people who are working to break generational curses and break family traditions that no longer serve us for our highest selves. So essentially, let's get into this story. We're at 3 minutes, perfect. I was born to a father and a mother, obviously. This mother was, not the first, but the second generation. First generation would be my grandma. If I'm not mistaken, she was born here in the U.S. I gotta do some more digging and clarify, but this is what I have so far. I believe she was born here in the U.S., and so was my mother. Now, my father, on the other hand, he was born in Trinidad, and he was the last of, 9 children. So he kind of was like the butt of everything, in the sense that he was almost expected to know what to do, since he had older brothers to look up to, or that he was expected to know what to do. As you have 9 kids as a couple, you end up running out of energy, or maybe having less energy for your last child, hoping that the children you brought prior are going to instill something important into that man. Now, it didn't necessarily work out that way, no one's fault. That's just how it manifested, and my father ended up having a great work drive, because he fell in love early with my mother, and he needed also, if I'm not mistaken, to get his cards in order, his visas, green card, whatever you want to call it, so he could be a citizen quicker. So boom, they marry, they have me, and then they have my brother. But right before they had my brother, I think there was some situations with some cheating. And let me go back a little bit because I think I went forward too much. So now, yes, he is a young man. He's working very hard. He is providing for his family, which is my mother and I. And then he ends up having this whole mental breakdown, unfortunately. And that caused him to not have that same drive to push anymore. And he was basically paralyzed by his mind, by his mindset on what he thought this reality was. And in a sense, it is correct of what he thought because a lot of it was true, but he was only focused on the darker things of this realm that we live in. There's a lot of good to be spoke about, to be shared, to be living in. You know what I'm saying? So that messed him up, and then boom, there was a cheating incident, and in order to try to fix it, they were like, all right, you can do it now too. And so boom, both of them, did each other wrong, unfortunately, broke up and left me and my little brother confused about, I guess, basically how to be a good man and how to be a good person to your opposite sex, So these are not excuses. These are just the reality of what I've grown with, and without putting yourself around certain people, like for me, I don't know what it is. I guess call it weakness, call it whatever you want to call it. But I do better when people initiate or people help me to understand certain ideologies because I'm naive. I really am, and it's okay to admit that if you are. A lot of things I'm very naive on, you know what I'm saying? And my father has this swagged out ego kind of thing that he enjoys being in, especially when he was younger before the breakup. So I was always swagged out. They always, had me in the nicest stuff. And that's all I really understood was just like being cool and like, the cool, suave, like nigga shit. And so that led me down a long path of pain and misery because on the other hand, before we start in that segment, let's talk about my mother. My mother, she disagreed with how her mother was raising her, and to spare, all of the deeper details, let's just say, there was some drug use and no guidance really, But then there was like an angry mom at the end of the day who would say, you should have done this, done that, done this. So boom, misunderstandings are created. My mom decides she's gonna save her own life, and she had the ethic, the work ethic, and the drive to become a property manager all on her own, and it took her a long time, and she had to watch me and my brother majority of the time. But that's kind of who I was raised by, in a sense, which is my mother. And that could be detrimental for men, because if the mother has been pushed into the masculine and then still wants to actually protect the boys that she has from the world, so she shields them for them to not see how dark this world can be, in hopes that that she would stop us from being affected by these mentalities. But in reality, once she was able to do what she did for the 18 years and it's my turn to face life, I don't have much knowledge at that point. And you could be like, well, why didn't you speak with your dad? And that I just explained. After the breakup, he had to go back with his mom, and he was devastated. And fortunately enough, he was able to, have another relationship that means something to him and have more kids, which is a topic for another day. But, it's changed him. He's definitely made progress. But I say all this to say that I don't come from people who got it, people who figured it out already, people who have went through all of the silly stuff that I just told you. and was like, okay, I really want to be something in my life, this life. How do I do it? And whether that was with a strong mentor or a wise and rich father, like whatever way you figured it out, you wanted to figure it out. And so essentially, I did not come from that. So I am that person that will figure it out for my family, for my generation, for the kids to come. Not to say that, my parents didn't do it, but they did it to a level where you can only do so much in a lifetime. And especially if you are not making the wisest decisions, you're going to get stopped at some point, or you're going to run into obstacles that seem impossible. And so now I think it's my turn to take what they went through, which is just brute force working, 3 jobs, fucking no sleep, no care for self, no health, no nothing, just money, trying to make it, trying to survive. I went and took that knowledge, and then I applied the knowledge of my father as well, which was, man, the world is dark. I don't know if I can deal with this. It drives me crazy. I am going to just pretty much be complacent with whatever position I'm given, and blah, 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 blah. So these are the combination of things I started off with, of knowing that you got to work 3 jobs to make all this money, yet the world is also a scary place, and money is evil, and everyone with money is evil. I started my life with these ideologies, and so now, unlearning and going through everything I went through, because sheesh, now look at how that played out for me. What I went through is in my opinion, I had the love that my mother taught us, and that's all I really cared about, because that's all she cared about at the moment when everything was dark and scary. She taught us, hey, we got each other, love each other. That's all we got. You know what I'm saying? That's what's more important than everything else right now, because without that, we're living in a house full of strangers, basically. So that was her main lesson, and so I took that, and that made me pure. And so every time I wanted to manifest something greater for my life, I was able to, God willing. Thank you, God, for that. But the only sucky part is that once I got it, I did not know how to maintain it. I did not know how to value it. I did not know how to appreciate it. And now I'm at the point where I literally flushed all of the blessings I asked for down the drain. I have to swallow this pill, come back from the mistakes that I made, and the pain that I've caused, and the setbacks that I've set myself upon, and just, start all over. I'm 28. And you can imagine somebody with the mentality of being cool, suave, loving, caring. I get the world. I get what the world needs, But I don't get anything from the world because it needs I need to be another side of myself, So that's what I'm going through. I was granted a certain amount of finances from tax companies, blew it. Now that I spent it, I have to pay it back. Interest, compounding interest coming along. Boom. Had a great connection with a young lady, very smart, similar, upbringing, but she's still very, very smart and very loving and very caring and wanting to learn. I did not know how to value that. I let it all go down the drain. It was too much challenge for me, too much being asked for me from another person. And that's never usually worked out well, because that also happened with my mother as well, where she would ask me, okay, there's no father figure in our lives, and there's no help, and there's no this, so you got to do a little bit more to help out with her personal stuff as well as helping with my younger brothers. And I always kind of understood it, but at times I would resent that, because it's like, okay, what about me? Like, I didn't sign up to have a bunch of kids. I didn't sign up to be too busy to do my own chores and shit. So why do I have to be the one to pick up the slack for people's mistakes. And I thought that that's what I was going to be doing, because if I loved my mother enough, that's what I needed to do. And so I did that for a while, but it built resentment. And so as soon as I got a girlfriend, there was issues between the two people. And if you want to know more about that, maybe I will let you know. We'll have a one-on-one conversation. But, I say all this to say, I am not coming from wealthy individuals who understand how to make it in this world. I am coming from people who just live here, who just wake up one day and realize, what the fuck am I doing here? Why? All I gotta do, if I want to eat, because every day we get hungry, I gotta go make some money. So we get caught in this survival mode of being like, damn, I just need to get any little job real quick because I need to eat and I need to pay my shelter and make sure I drink water and shit. The most basic fundamentals of life, that's where we're stuck at, most of us, in my current family tree. Some people doing a little bit better. I don't know all the details. From what I knew I stayed away from my family a lot. I isolated myself because I just felt like no one understood me, and I did it to myself. What's up, cat? You can pass. It's okay. Go pass. Come on. All right, I'll ignore you. Hopefully you pass. All right, bro, probably not gonna pass. You being scary, bro. Come on. Hi. Anyways, yeah, he went the other way. Sometimes you gotta make that decision. Something can sound so sweet and so nice. Hi. And that motherfucker turn around and kill you. That boy made the right decision. Not to say I would have killed him, but you gotta just be safe. Better safe than sorry out here. So yeah, that was a lesson within this lesson, randomly. Thank you, universe, for that. Thank you, cat. Thank you. But back to the topic. I think I've just been expressing, and I need to express this in order for me to finally digest this. And I stress this because I want to inspire the world to be able to break out of any mold or any format that you have formulated yourself in based off of your environment. You cannot blame your environment forever. You cannot blame your childhood forever. You cannot blame these things forever. At some point, once you find out that, hey, oh shoot, this affected me in my childhood, okay, but this is what's gonna fix it. At that point, you cannot use that excuse no more, because now you know what you need to do in order to fix it. And if you ain't doing it, then it's all your fault. All those excuses that you make is your fault. And I was one of those people, made a lot of excuses. Oh, it's because my father, oh, because my mother, oh, because the world, oh, the system, racism, all this shit. But then again, I see people who look just like me, or might have came from a similar background just like me, and they make it, It's never a pretty thing on the way up, but, oh, they make it, So it's my turn. And I'm excited to be on this journey to progress my family lineage and my soul spirit and alchemize this pain and alchemize this darkness into light. So I thank you for hearing me out. I feel like I'm going to get better with storytelling and stuff, because I need to work on journaling and, writing things down, planning things out. This is all the things I need to work on. But day by day, step by step, thank you, God. Peace. I'm Isaiah for a reason. Messenger of God. Last name's Matthew. Man, I'm all up in the Bible. Certain numbers resonate with me. And when I look at those numbers and I find the chapters and verses that they reflect to, whoa, was I supposed to read that shit a long time ago? Life is beautiful. It's only ugly if you want it to be. It's all about perspective and how you see. How you see with the third or the first eye. Because before we had this physical body that allows us to touch, feel, smell, hear, and taste. We just had our spiritual body, which was etheric in a sense and had no actual mass to it. And yeah, that's a topic for another day. Peace.